Alright, I mentioned that purchasing a home is expensive. There are other costs associated with buying a home besides the mortgage. First of all, the down payment. Okay, the down payment is how much you are able to pay for the home up front. In other words, before you take out a mortgage, you have to pay some of the house. Now, typically, you are not allowed to buy a house if you don't have 10% down. Okay, you need to pay 10% down. Now, there's a problem with this, because if you can come up with 20% down payment, that means, okay, I should put down payment. If you put 20% down instead of 10% down, okay, you do not need what they call mortgage insurance. Okay, so this is an interesting thing, mortgage insurance. In Canada, if you can't come up with 20% of the original cost, so here, just a couple of numbers. Let's say a house costs $200,000. Okay, 10% of that, 10% is $20,000. 20% is $40,000. So if you can pay $40,000 towards this house, you don't need mortgage insurance. But if you only have $20,000, you need to take out mortgage insurance, and that varies, but it costs you money. All right, and it's basically to protect the bank from you not being able to pay off the house. Okay, this mortgage insurance is a newer thing. It was not around for a while, but because of the big crash in the U.S. That was related to homes and mortgages, they've changed things a little bit, and now, especially in Canada, more so than the U.S., you have to have at least 10% down, but 20% removes insurance. Okay, next, inspection fee. So sometimes when you go buy a house, you're kind of looking at it and going, I'm not sure everything's okay here. Okay, an inspection fee is what you pay, all right, what you pay to an inspector to check out things like the electrical, the wiring, the plumbing, the foundation, are there any cracks? Okay, just to check out to see if everything's okay. To see if everything is okay. It used to be a big concern was that there was asbestos in the house, and so you'd get an inspector to come check to make sure you didn't have asbestos in the house. That's not as big of a deal anymore. There are a lot of people who say, hey, you don't need an inspection fee. You can look at the house yourself and you'll know if things are okay. I think generally speaking, the older the house, the more likely you might want to have an inspector check it out. Okay. An application fee. An application fee is a charge. This is classic, a charge just to apply for a mortgage. So you're basically saying, hey, will you give me a mortgage? Okay, and the bank says, well, you have to pay for us to decide if we can give you a mortgage. Okay, appraisal fee. All right. So let's take that example again. Let's say you buy a house for $200,000 and you go to the bank and you say, we need a mortgage to pay for this. The bank will say, well, we want to check out the value of the house to make sure that it's worth $200,000, because we're not going to give you $200,000 if the house is only worth $100,000. Okay, so an appraisal is sort of an evaluation of the property's worth. Or the property value. Okay, so in other words, they're not going to give you a mortgage for more than the house is worth. And sadly, you have to get your house appraised. Otherwise, you won't get the mortgage. Okay. Sales tax, this is only on new homes. If you buy a brand new house, you pay a 5% GST on that new home. Okay. A house that is not new, you don't have to pay that. All right. Service fees. There's actually comedians who talk about this. Have you ever had this where you phone, say Shaw, and you say you want your cable turned on, and they go, oh, well, we can maybe do that next Thursday. And you say, oh, what do you need to come down to my house to turn it on? And they say, no, there's just a switch that I have to switch on. And you're thinking, well, why can't you just switch it on right now? Well, this is the way it works. There are fees charged for starting new services. Okay, new services such as hydro, cable, internet, gas, phone not so much. Nobody gets phones anymore, so maybe we'll kind of cross that one off. But there are fees for having that hooked up in your house. And the last one, you need a lawyer to, well, it's called close a house purchase. Okay, you can't, like in the good old days, you could walk up to someone and say, hey, I'll give you this much money. You'd shake hands and they would give you the house. You give them the money. Now you need a lawyer to make sure everything's done okay. There is a fee charged. And the fee is for all kinds of different things. They do property searches, they do title searches, they say, are there any encroachments, are there things on your property that shouldn't be, all those kinds of things. And typically they're going to be, it's going to be about $1,000 to $2,000 for a lawyer fee to buy a house. Okay, so what do you need to know with all these things? Well, you need to understand them. They have to be in your language, okay? You might want to put those on a cheat sheet so that you don't have to memorize them, but you need to know what they are. Okay, property insurance. Your home must be insured, and documentation given to your lawyer. Okay, property insurance, pretty self-explanatory. You need insurance in case something goes wrong. Okay, and here's the deal. You must insure your house. You don't have the choice not to. Okay, otherwise, most banks won't even give you the mortgage. Okay, moving costs, pretty self-explanatory again, what it costs you to move. Okay, new home costs, so new items for a home. Sometimes if you move into a house, you're going to need appliances. Okay, maybe you were renting before, you didn't have your own. How about a lawnmower? Okay, maybe you need dishes, maybe you need furniture. These are all costs that add up. You know what I find? I find when you move to a new house, suddenly all your old furniture doesn't fit, so you think you need all new furniture. Alright, and the last one is land transfer tax. This is kind of sad. This wasn't around up until very recently. This was slipped in by a government not so long ago. But Manitoba charges a one-time tax. Anytime you buy a new house, you're charged a tax. Okay, and this is another one of our tables. We'll have that information on a table. Now, you don't have any say on that. You can't disguise that or hide it. That will be done for you. It'll be calculated for you. Okay, so let's try an example of land transfer tax. What is the land transfer tax on a house that is worth $175,000? Okay, so let's go to our table. Now there we have insurance rates. There we have tenants. Okay. Oh, so I didn't have that one in there. Here's the land transfer tax. Okay. And this is a little bit strange. On the first 30,000, you get 0% of costs. Then from 60 to 90, on the next 60, from 30 to 90, it's 5% or 0.5% actually. Okay, so it changes as we go here. So let's take a look at our 175, and we're going to break this down a little bit. The first 30,000, you pay 0%. So that's $0. Okay, then the next, from 30,000 to 90,000, so the next 60,000, you pay 0.5%. That's $300. Okay, so let's see. We had 175. We took away 30,000. That gave us 145. Then we took away 60,000. That gave us 85,000. All right, so let's look at what the next one is. Then from 90 to 150, it's 1%. So from 90 to 150, that's another 60,000. It's 1%. So this is 600. So let's take away another 60,000. This leaves 25,000 more. So what is the rate for the last 25,000? It's 1.5%. And so this is $375. And so when you buy this house, you're going to pay $1,275 of land transfer tax. Okay. Next example. It says that these people are living in Dauphin and they're relocating to Winnipeg. Their house is $120,000. Okay, and then it lists a bunch of costs here. So we've got to try to fill out this table with all these costs. Okay, so the first item in the table is an appraisal fee. Okay, so the appraisal fee is $120. Then we look for an inspection fee. That is not listed, so that we don't have to pay. Okay, a property survey. A lot of lawyers will not make a legal transaction without having a survey of the property. Okay, and let's see if there is a survey here. Property survey, $450. Okay. Insurance for a high ratio mortgage. Well, it doesn't say anything about that one. Home insurance. Let's see if we have home insurance. Maybe it would work better just to go down the list. Their mover cost is $1,500. Where is moving costs? $1,500. Okay, they hire a lawyer. The lawyer's fee is $800. That's $800. It says their legal fees and disbursements. Disbursements means they spent money doing certain things. If you ever see a lawyer's bill, it's going to list all kinds of things that they spend money on. They usually charge you about $50 for what they call photocopying. It's insane. Okay, what's next? The Sims possession date is July 7th. The interest adjustment is $440. Okay, this just means that someone else paid some interest, and so they are taking on somebody else's extra payment. Don't worry too much about that. You'll just fill that in the table the way it is. Okay, so we did that one. The annual property tax is $1,750, for which the Sims agree to pay for 6 months. Okay, so property tax is $1,250, but we're only going to do 6 out of the 12 months. Okay, so, oh, sorry, that's not $1,250, it's $1,750. My mistake. So this is $875. Okay. Next, the Sims resodded the yard at $3,500. Well, where does that go in? Well, I guess we'll call that a repair. $3,500. Okay. Replace the stove and fridge. Okay, appliances. So $750 plus $950. Okay, they split the cost of the appliances with the seller. What does that mean? Okay, that means they had to divide this by 2, this amount. Okay, so that works out to $850. They buy drapes for $500 and paint the bedroom for $350, so that's $850 here in decorating costs. And they need to upgrade their home insurance for the 4 remaining months of the policy year. The old premium was $264, the new one is $680. So the home insurance, how much more is it? Turns out that it is, and this is only for 4 months. Okay, so I go 138.67. So what I'm doing there is I'm multiplying it by 4 over 12, so that's how much of the year it is, 4/12 of the year. Okay, that's for 4 months. Alright, now if we add all those things up, what do we end up with? We end up with $9,523.67. Okay, this is the cost of relocating. This is not the cost of the house. These are just the costs surrounding buying and selling a house. Okay, so you have a couple of assignments here. Assignment 2, there's a few of these examples. I would like you to do them. So this is your homework number 2.